Thanks for staying tuned. It's still the conversation on Lagos Television. And of course, we'll be connecting with a media executive as well as a parent on Zoom this morning. And of course, he'll be lending his voice to the celebration of the Nigerian child on this occasion of the Children's Day. Jare Ayo Martins, good morning. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Right, Jare, let's start this way. The theme for this year's celebration in Nigeria is Stand Up, Speak Up, Building a Bullying-Free Generation. How apt is this theme, especially for the celebration of this year's Children's Day?
Well, I think it's apt at this point to really mention that most time we don't listen to the children. We look at them as minors, and they don't have a say in the society. It's a good thing, but the implementation is more important than just the propagation. When you propagate something, you should be able to implement it right good.
Okay. Right, Jibola.
All right, Jare, when you look at an average Nigerian child today, what are those challenges that you can pinpoint facing them, and how do you think government can come in to salvage the situation?
Well, the challenge is indulgence and over-pampering. When I was young, I was telling somebody yesterday that a good slap from my mom will reset my brain. But today, we are slaves to our children. We carry their lunch bag. We do virtually everything for them. Our generation is better off because we were trained as kids to be able to do certain things. So unfortunately, we don't do this. And it's going to really be a boomerang in future. You discover that most youngsters these days. Let me give you an example. I grew up in Apapa Road, Butimeta, Lagos. And I don't know, I might not be able to calculate the distance between Apapa Road and Moshala bus stop on your way to Mushin. My dear brother, at the age of 9, I was leaving my house from Apapa Road, Butimeta, Lagos, to Mushin and Moshala bus stop in Mushin. And unaided and unguided. The only thing that my mother would want me, don't
talk to strangers,
discuss with anybody on the road and stuff like that. But today, a 12-year-old son cannot go to buy bread across the streets. So we need to really retrain and reframe the kind of training we give to our children.
Okay.
We need to, because we are slaves to these children. An undergraduate, about 18 years old undergraduate, cannot lace his shoes. We need to really find a more subtle pattern to train these children.
All right.
These are going to be the problems with them in the future.
Okay.
Importantly,
I will come back to ask, the question I want to ask. But we have our young friend in the studio this morning, though he's 6. But I'd like to ask you, Beyonce, do you know what bullying is?
Fighting.
Yes, fighting. Okay. So tell us, does anybody bully you in school or in your neighborhood? No. But you know what bullying is. You know what it is. So if anybody bullies you, if anybody tries to bully you, who do you report to?
To my teacher.
To your teacher, and to who? And perhaps to your daddy. Can your daddy fight? You have to look at him. Okay, but you know that when somebody does anything wrong to you, you need to tell your teacher and then your daddy or your mommy, right? Right, Jare, let me come back to you because I just wanted to ask him because he's 6. Okay, I think we lost connection. Okay, he's back with us. Jare, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
So because it's 6, and I just wanted to find out from him if he also understands what it means by bullying. Because, again, you've talked about the fact that parents are also major culprits when it comes to raising our children. Can this also be what the society has turned parenting into today? And so for you, how important will it be for us all to go back to being intentional when it comes to parenting. And it is not just in the four walls of a house. Parenting also goes beyond, your biological parents, but also teachers and the society.
Well, let me quickly correct this impression. Bullying and disciplining children are different things.
Absolutely.
They are two different things. Bullying is when you intentionally subdue the child. Is a different thing. But you see, these days it's much more difficult to bully because there are laws and you know the consequences. Even your children, you cannot just handle them anyhow. That's one aspect. The aspect is this: when we were growing up, we grew up in a community where an older elder brother, somebody who is about 5-10 years older than you, my parents will report me to him. And sometimes he might not beat us. He will just look at us somehow and we will
you reset.
Yes, we are. So all these are things that matters. Today, we have the generation of go inside children. You lock yourself up. You don't allow them to mingle with people in the society. And it's going to boomerang at the end of the day. That's why we have a lot of people don't know so much about life. Life is not just the way you see it. Life is diverse. You need to know about Mr. A's attitude. You need to know about Mr. B's attitude, cross culture. For instance, when I was growing up, I grew up in a situation in a society where we can visit our friends, where we mingle together, we play football together, we do things together. But these days, it's you to yourself. You only meet once in a while, maybe during Easter or during Fiesta. Then after that, everybody goes home. Then the advance of social media is not really helping matters. Yes, it helps this generation of today it exposes them to the world. They have intelligence, but those intelligence are not the kind of intelligence we grew up with.
Okay.
We grew up with intelligence which are native, and we are being guided by our parents and people around us. So our teachers too. If you ask an 18-year-old child now, who are your teachers from primary 1 to secondary school? You probably forgot some of them because some of them don't even have direct access to them.
Okay.
I can name my teachers from primary 1 to primary 6.
Right.
And I left school, that was a long time ago. That was decades ago. So what I'm trying to say is this. We are not, we don't allow the society to be a bit closer to the children.
Okay.
Because we are afraid of them being infested by the society. But that's not true.
Okay.
Okay, Jare, you kept referring to your past and how you were trained by your parents. But the only constant thing in life is change. When you look at the situation of security then and now, we cannot compare the two. And these days, parents are more conscious, they're more careful with their children. That is not to say that we should not discipline them. Okay, so the civilization that we have now, how much has it impacted parenting in a way?
Jibble, I disagree with you wholeheartedly. I got to know the word bomo in Yoruba, which means kidnapper, at the age of 6. So it's not about security. Well, maybe you can talk about population. We have more cars, the roads are busier. It wasn't like that in our own days.
Okay.
Now, the situation we have today gives more tasks to the parents. The parents have to, most of the time, be on the guard. Look at what your children is watching on social media. Look at what your children is doing when you are not there. It takes a lot. And most of we parents today are busy hustling for money. Well, our fathers were making money, our mothers were making money, but they still had time for the children.
Okay.
Well, maybe because of the situation we find ourselves today, everybody is competing. I want my children to go to school. I want my children to go to the best school. I want to take him to school in a car. I want to have a permanent car for the children. All these things were not really available in those days. I remember some of my schoolmates in those days were coming to school barefooted. And nothing happened. Most of them are even more brilliant than
you were.
we that have shoes.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say in essence, Jibola, is the fact that we in today's parents have a lot of tasks, and is all encompassing.
Okay.
From finance to the garden. Like, when I was young, nobody was doing my own work for me. They just put me through and leave me. I have the music to face the following morning with my teacher. But a lot of things are now wrong with the society.
Okay.
You can't get a child.
Let's talk to Beyonce here. So tell us, does daddy or mommy do anything that you don't like? Yes or no? Did you hear my question? So tell me, does daddy or mommy do anything that you don't like at home? Do they feed you very well? Yes. Do they buy your school uniforms? Do they buy you party dresses? You looked at daddy, okay?
That's the answer.
Yeah, he had to look at you like, okay, are you sure I can actually talk? Don't worry, you're safe. Everything you say here today, you're very safe. But is there anything you'd like for daddy and mommy to do better for you? Yes.
Like
what? Buy you what? Because that's always the first thing. Buy you what? Buy you more
games.
More toys? More food?
You have
to say it so that daddy will hear you.
Look at your camera.
Look at
You're
your
talking
camera.
to the people at home.
So tell us, what do you want daddy and mommy to do better? Does daddy shout? Does mommy shout at you when you're naughty? Does daddy punish you when you're naughty? Yes. So daddy, you can hear. So you also need to stop being naughty so that daddy won't punish you. Okay? Is there anything special you want to say to your dad or your mom? Nothing.
Or you want to sing for us? Would you like to sing?
No. Okay, all right. Jare, before we allow you to go, I mean, you've talked about parents, but there's also the need to address government. How can government also be more responsible when it comes to catering to the needs of the Nigerian child?
Bring back those good old days. I was a member of the Boys Brigade, 5th Lagos Company, and Methodist Church at Jare, Lagos. I was in the Junior Boys Brigade. Later, I went to the Senior Boys Brigade. There are Boy Scouts. For the Muslim, there are sheriffs. Some of us were members of the Red Cross.
Yeah, but the voluntary clubs are back in Lagos.
I beg your pardon?
The voluntary clubs are back in Lagos schools.
Well, they are back in Lagos school, but they are not as good as they were in those days. They need to empower them the more.
Okay.
So it's not about just school. It's not about school. I was going to a different school. I was a member of the Boys Brigade in a different church.
Okay.
That is it. We need to encourage our children to do this more often than they do that. They have a lot. If you are right from year 5, you are a member of the Brownie. That's a girl
guide.
A member of Club Scout, a boy. And we had a nice time. These are training grounds for us beyond the school, beyond our homes. So all this put together, the government need to do that. Then I don't know if they still do civic studies, moral instruction. Those are little things. I was also a member of the anti-corruption and crime something. They came to our school and they gave us a card that we can report to the police if anybody is trying to do something wrong in the society. So that was my secondary school though.
Okay.
So all these things the government should encourage. Individuals cannot do them.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jare Martins, for finding time to join us via Zoom on the program this morning.
Thank you very much for having me, LTV's home. Jibola, it's nice seeing you again.
Same here. Thank you.
All right, Ajibola, just before we wrap up this conversation, I did mention President Tinubu's message to children this year. If you'd also like to go through what he talked about prioritizing child protection under the Renewed Hope agenda.
Abimbola, there was a particular section of the speech of Mr. President that caught my attention this morning. And it goes thus. Additionally, and in alignment with the Renewed Hope agenda, we are committed to implementing proactive measures to strengthening existing efforts to support families and communities, including developing a robust institutional framework focused exclusively on child protection and development. This will ensure greater accountability in safeguarding the rights and the well-being of every Nigerian child. When I look at the number of out-of-school children today, it worries me and I get disturbed because if you deprive them of education, then what kind of future leaders are we likely to have tomorrow?
Right. I mean, valid point you've raised here. But I also like the facts that there is, according to Mr. President, a national plan of action of ending violence against children, because we know this is also very key. So if you do not educate the children and then you abuse them on all fronts, I mean, not giving them education is also abuse.
It's an abuse, yeah.
And there's so many rights that children have. And so this document, 2024 to 2030, will ensure that there is a comprehensive roadmap to prevent abuse, prosecute perpetrators, and support victims backed by robust financing and multi-sectoral coordination. It means that we need to start speaking out more. When children are abused or when people are abused in your community, please seek help for them. And you can also use the whistleblower method. Nobody would really need to know that it was you who reported, those families. It's important that we continue to ensure that the rights of our children are not explored in any way. Beyonce, thank you very much for being on the program today. Did you enjoy yourself? At least you tell everybody you were on national TV, of course, today. So happy Children's Day to you. Say Happy Children's Day to me, too. I'm a child. Thank you.
You want to give me 5?
Give Uncle high five. All right.
Thank you for coming.
Okay. And thank you, Daddy, for bringing me onto the program today. We appreciate
Even
your
though
thought.
he doesn't like that day as much as
I
me.
know, right? And whatever he's done today, I mean, it's Children's Day. And so just, pardon him and then give him all the support for today. We'll take a quick break. When we return on the conversation, we are celebrating Lagos at 58. Of course, Adebimpe will take on the celebration. And hopefully at the end of the program, she'll treat us to our own celebration. I'll keep saying it.
I'm not going to Marina. We have to celebrate here in Ikeja. I'm not Marina.
We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.